こんにちは. In this video, I'll talk about why Japanese speakers sometimes pronounce the word differently from the way it's spelled. I'll explain why we pronounce some words in a certain way and introduce some pronunciation tips. But please know that these are not hard rules. These are just general tips to sound more natural. I want to emphasize it because people from different regions speak differently. And also, pronouncing in a certain way can add a certain characteristics to person. For example, adding cuteness to the characters in anime. And there are other cases where people pronounce things differently. So again, please note that the pronunciation tips in this video is to sound more natural in general. Before we get into the FAQ, I'd like to introduce a term that I'll be using in this video. When I say voiceless consonants, I'm referring to K, S, T, H, and P consonant. And this is all you need to know for this video, but I'll do a quick 15-second introduction of voiceless consonants just for fun. If you touch your fingers to your throat and make the Z sound, which is one of voiced consonants, you will feel the vibrations of your vocal cord. But if you make the S sound, which is voiceless, you will notice the vibrations stop. Now, let's look at the first question. Why Japanese people say des instead of desu? When you first learn the word des, you probably noticed that Japanese speakers often say des instead of desu, and probably wondered why we dropped the u. The answer is that when voiceless consonants plus I or U is placed at the end of a word or a sentence, the I or U become voiceless. So it's not that we're dropping it. You just won't hear the sound very well. So instead of saying desu, we say des. Another example is お願いします, which means please. This phrase also ends with a voiceless consonant, su. So the U becomes voiceless. So instead of saying お願いします, we say お願いします. Question number 2. How do we pronounce the word for teacher? Is it sensei or sensei? When you see ei in a word, please remember that ei is pronounced as e. So instead of saying sensei, we say sensei. Also, the ou is pronounced as o. So instead of saying ありがとう, we say ありがとう for thank you in a casual speech style. Let's try the polite version of thank you. ありがとうございます. You see that this phrase has おう, so it's pronounced ありがとう. Also notice that it ends with す, so it's pronounced ございます. So instead of saying ありがとうございます, we say ありがとうございます. Question number 3. How do we pronounce the word for student? Is it 学生 or 学生? Let's see this word, 好き, for like or is fond of. And you probably just heard me saying 好き. So here's another pronunciation tip. When I or U are placed between two voiceless consonants, the I and U often become voiceless. So instead of saying 好き, we say 好き. How about the word for student? You see that there is U between two voiceless consonants, K and S. So this U becomes voiceless. We also have e, so it becomes e. So instead of saying 学生, we say 学生. Now let's try this phrase. Japanese people often use this phrase, 失礼します, which literally means excuse my interrupting, but it's used in various situations as formal greetings, like I'm entering your home or office, I'm leaving, and so on. So notice that there is I placed between two voiceless consonants, S and T. So this will be 失. Also, there is e, so with R in front, it'll be れ. And then this phrase ends with a voiceless consonant, su. So the last part will be します. So instead of saying 失礼します, we say 失礼します. Today we learned why Japanese speakers sometimes pronounce a word differently from how the word is spelled. Thank you for watching. ありがとうございます.